Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you the final VCT 2026 kickoff review. Wanted to go over my pick'ems and just some final thoughts. Not necessarily how we did every other week of going through every single game, but I want to talk about just my ending thoughts about some of the teams and how my pick'ems were. And a bit of kickoff as a whole. I think that this format was amazing. I really liked it, except for back-to-back BO5 finals on Valentine's Day weekend. Why? Why couldn't you do it a week earlier or later when some of us don't have plans? Instead, you chose to do it on Valentine's Day weekend. So you kind of shot yourself in the foot on that as far as viewership, because, well, hey, some of us do have lives. Now, with that though, I'm going to go to Kickoff to Pacific, then EMEA, and then end on Americas because Kickoff wrapped up first, China wrapped up first, and I have less to say about that one because, well, let's see what my pick'ems did. As far as my pick'ems, uh, for China, got damn near nothing. I was a little bit floored that FPX didn't make a deeper run. That was pretty breaking. I was like, I don't know, like they just went straight the fuck out, straight the fuck out. Uh, then the backups of DRG and who was my other one here? Billy Gaming. Those, well, yeah. Also, Billy bottomed out and DRG bottomed out. So I shouldn't say bottomed out. Billy got close, but they had the back-to-back finals kind of situation, and DRG also kind of trailed right behind them. So they landed, pretty close to one another. At least I had that right, that they were going to be close to each other, I guess. Um, so there was that, and FPX was my hopeful pick. Wanted to see them do it. That was more so an unrealistic throw out there in case we saw an upset. But surprisingly, EDG did manage to get in at the very end. So that's kind of China. I think there's a lot of conversation of, oh, is China actually look watchable now? There was some, there was some good, there was some bad. I'll be honest, it is the same with challengers or game changers. There's some teams that you look at and they are actually able to compete, and then you look at the other teams and you go, well, yeah, that team did deserve to get 13 0'd. That's kind of where I feel China is, but now there's more, as you can see with, I mean, I maybe I'm not the only person, but that got it off. But hey, as you can see, there was like very few numbers that got like lower numbers that got most of it correct. As you can see, with upsets of Billy and DRG not getting in, EDG sliding in there, all gamers making it, and the other one was Zeli. I know some people had Zeli on there, uh, but with that, I think that goes to say that, well, yes, there's a combination of the things that you expected, the teams you expected, bottoming out, but there's also the conversation of, hey, hold on, there's some new faces here that if they can get past the ones that we expected, I think that's good. Moving on to Pacific. I have more to say about Pacific because, well, my pick'em also got screwed over here, right? Yeah. Um, I was with the almost majority of users. I think I needed five more points, and I would have been average, right? Or the median picker. I am. Let's see. Nongshim made it, T1 made it, Paper Rex made it. RRQ almost did. DFM got further than most of us expected. But I do want to talk a little bit about GE here because I was slightly. Was I disappointed? Was I disappointed? I had them as my dark horse pick, and I also had RRQ kind of like getting up there, right? Did I change that? No. Yeah. I did think that they would lose at the full sense though. Um, and yeah, just yeah. So I had faith in RRQ for a bit. Um, I like the roster. RRQ looked good. The final map that they played, Monye did not want to lose, and I respect the fuck out of that. Um, it was looking interesting there. Oh no, sorry, it was RQT one that game that he popped off. Yeah, it was RQT one. Sorry, not the Paper Rex one. Look good. I think RQ looked good. I'm only disappointed with GE by the fact that they stopped thinking. Like, and I don't mean all of them, and I said it in previous weeks. They just stopped thinking at certain points. But since they went out last week, I don't need to talk about them too much this week. Paper Rex don't look good. I don't think that they look so much better. I don't think that they're back. They still look pretty rough, and that's not great. T1 also, I don't think T1 looks all that good. I think this is a conversation that, and it's going to come back for EMEA. Oh, actually, I got that up next, so look at me planning that, right? There was some discussion of, oh, you can't now, you can't, with the new triple elimination format, you can't really say that any team got bracketed or anything like that. And that's partially true, but I do think that some of it still got significantly easier or harder for some of the teams that people faced. So T1 getting a bye first round and then going into Nongshim, who turned out to be, pretty good. Don't know why I did that. Um, Turned out to be pretty good, right? They then go into DRX. And DRX, sorry, was it Genji first? Yeah, they go into Genji. And Genji looked pretty disappointing at this stage. They had just come off a loss, and it seemed like Genji kind of lost their footing. Like, they looked good in the offseason, and then they just lost it. Then they go into DRX, and that looked better. But DRX also was having a rough one coming off of losing to, Varel and Full Sense. Varel didn't look that good. So the real test for T1 in the run came in the form of Paper X. DFM, I don't know. They were up and down. To me, it didn't feel like they had just leveled up so significantly. It seemed like they were popping off on some days. Like it just felt weird. They had to go against Team Secret. GE suffered from Frost Curse, where it's Green Week, Red Week. I don't know what that was up about, but hey, that happened. Then DFM took out Full Sense, was a bit surprising. And you go to DFM. Again, I didn't think that DFM looked so terribly convincing. And then RRQ. I did think RRQ looked better, taking down the likes of a terrible looking Paper X, but then they go down and on him. Then they're tired. So then they end up having to go against T1, which look okay enough. And then by that time, I can't blame RRQ for being dead tired to not beat Paper X. Paper X takes a lot of fucking energy to beat. I would imagine, right? Even if they don't look that good, they are still just wild and probably exhausting to face. So I think there is still a bit of bracketed discussion, but for Pacific, I'm glad to see Nongshim. That was, hey, take that. Uh, T1, I I'm kind of surprised, but I think I'm more so surprised that Genji DRX didn't make it. DRX did end up losing flashback last minute, so that's kind of where my stocks were. So DRX making it, as far as they did with that kind of crucial change, kind of impressive. And Genji, don't know what the fuck happened there. So Paper X, they get in, but I don't think it's because they were so much better. I think it's because this wasn't great. Man, I'm so disappointed in Team Secret. Don't know what the fuck happened in Gen G. Zeta couldn't get it together. And I want to know what happened to Global. Like I think that they had real promise on certain things, but I don't know. There something global, if you ask me, should have been fourth. Full sense, you know. I think Paper Rex just so happened to. Did they play Full Sense? Paper Rex. Did they avoid Full Sense? I think. No, hold on now. Full Sense. Full Sense. Paper Rex. Full Sense. Paper Rex. Full Sense. I think they dodged Full Sense. I would have liked to see Paper Rex Full Sense. Is that. Am I making that up? Did I just not remember that game? Full Sense. Full Sense. Paper Rex. Full Sense goes down to DFM. Yeah, they dodged him. If you asked me, I think that Paper Rex would have went out had they gone against Full Sense wholeheartedly. Um, Full Sense was looking pretty good and in better form than Paper Rex was. So hey, there's that. But yeah, rip the pick'em. We're not big brain enough to understand, I guess. Who would have seen it? Then we come to EMEA, where first let's go to my pick'em. I think this was my worst one. Eh, it's not the worst. Damn, there are people that got nothing. That's crazy. Um, so coming to this, I want to harp on Fnatic because you've probably seen by now Natch's speech about wants to make Boaster reconsider why he even plays Valorant in this game. And I said it last week, I think. I'm pretty sure I said it last week. But if a fellow competitor can see it, and me at home recording videos to post on YouTube can see it, I mean this in no joking manner. I think that Fnatic should consider therapist because it is true that you can see when it is getting away from Boaster. And Nats used that pretty well. I think that's pretty well because in no way, shape, or form should Fnatic have lost against that Gentle Mage. They were up 2-0, could not close it out. You know why? Because on that third map, it crumbled. They got beat, what was it, 13-6, I think? Yeah, 13-6. And like I said, if you find I kind of have to harp about two things too. Um for this series. And well, kind of as a whole for Fnatic again, Boaster's overcorrecting. Um he's trying to play a little bit faster, but then you could see the moment that when it stopped working on split, that for the rest of the series, maybe not the entire rest, but even on split, I think it started here really, not just because they lost, but genuinely. You are playing double duelist. You cannot play double duelist this fucking slow. You can't do it. Doesn't make sense. Also, um, Boaster's overcorrection that I was alluding to earlier is he's playing in really shit spots because I think maybe somebody is watching videos. Maybe somebody is looking at internet things and like, hey, hold on, that guy has a point. But I think there was a drastic overcorrection on Boaster's end from maybe a coach pulling him aside as just like, hey, you're getting caught out on lurks. It'd be better to have Alpha Air lurk or something like that because people then know that, all right, send the team to the other side. We found Boaster. That means everybody else is on the other side of the map. Maybe somebody else peeped that and told him that. But in return, Boaster is playing absolute dog shit spots. I'm looking at a bind where my Brimstone with the molly is still at the spike. Why is my brimstone planting? Why is my Astra planting? Why is my Astra planting? He's playing terrible positions. If you look at Corrode, for some odd reason, he's playing the spots that I want Kayak at. Kayak should be the one looking down main. Why is my Smokes the first one up? My Smokes that has a suck or a stun to delay the hit. Like I didn't get it. So then you scrape by on Corrode, you get punched in the mouth on Split, and then you fumble it because now you're inside your head of, oh no, we might actually lose this. I'm looking at Haven. You have 3 ults. One of them being Yoru, one of them being Sova, and somehow the round isn't done? And that's a lot on Boaster. Oh, and the final round, double op, but Boaster's holding one of them? But let's talk about the other op in that situation, which was Kayak. Kayak didn't hit shit that mattered this tournament. He had a nice 3K on one of the rounds at Haven. But maybe Kayak also needs to get into the therapy sessions with Boaster. First kill, first death on Haven, -7. You don't want to see that out your duel list. Went even on Bind, -1 on Split, even on Corrode, -2 on Abyss. And that was just this series. Let's double check. Because I do want to see how, what was it versus, did it look better versus Liquid? Kayak overall, +5, okay. Corrode, +1. Alright, so here's the other 5, and then I'm guessing even on everything else, right? That's how math works? More or less? I guess technically it's not, I guess you could do some other things. +4 on Bind, alright, heating up. Even, right, and they got 3-0, so, right. Yeah, Kayak was not hitting any of the shots that he needed to hit for the play to even succeed. It's not even, he just was not hitting. He completely disappeared throughout the tournament. And that's a big problem. How did we do here? Versus Vitality went +6, tied with Alpha. So here +4, okay, and then +2. Cool. That's fine. But as you can see, he's also not the top performer in a lot of these matches, and that's not what you need out of your duelist. I don't know what happened to the Kayak of last year, but he disappeared. The pressure on Boaster was pretty evident because I'm telling you, if -29 is a lot, my guy, Boaster was playing shit positions, making weird ass calls. And here's the other thing about the weird calls, and I'm harping on Fnatic because I wanted them to do well. I have no problem with any other team. I'm always rooting for Fnatic. Well, Boaster. I'm always rooting for Boaster. But the problem becomes when another person can see the thing that I can see at home. When somebody you're going against can see it, that's a scary thing. You can see the moments that it is getting away from Boaster. And it does not recover. It does not. And oh, the other thing is, I didn't understand why we're not planting the fucking spike. You've seen that the site is clear for the past 15 seconds. You're on the site. Put the spike down. Boaster made some really weird calls with delaying the times on things to give time for the opponent to finally get over there. Instead of putting the spike down and getting to decent post plant positions, you've tapped the spike, I guess to see if you could draw one person out, but they know you have the spike there. You sit there for another 15 seconds. Now it's 20 seconds left. You have to plant the spike, and now all four of the remaining enemy team is here. We kept doing that shit. That was weird. Several maps, you are on site. Put the spike down. You've cleared it. And then, not to mention that all of the Fnatic boys kept forgetting what the fuck a corner was. If Crashies didn't drone it, they didn't check it. I don't know what the fuck that was about. And that's not just Gentlemate's game. I'm talking about both of the finals. I'm kind of talking about their entire run. If Crashies wasn't droning that corner, they just walked straight out. They didn't check the corner. I don't know what the fuck that was. They stopped checking corners, and Boaster's timing was weird. You're playing double duelist. You get one pick on one of the sides. That means usually, at most, there might be two more people on the site. But instead, we got the pick, rotated one person over to the other side. Nobody's in middle right now because he kept doing these 4-0-1 setups after these things. And thankfully, Liquid and Gentlemage didn't do what Foot did to them, where they actually just walked down mid, and then was behind them. But you then pause for 3 years to try to hit. They're over there now because your lurker has been like kind of on A for a little bit, or B, whatever, but you didn't do anything to make the person not see. Like, they can still see. I'm looking at split, and I don't remember, somebody's holding a ramp just looking straight down the fucking Viper's wall, so they know nobody's passed after you got the pick on B, and we haven't hit. So now it's a 4v4 on the site. Sorry, 3v4 on the site when you could have been on. I don't know what Boaster's timing was this event. It was very odd. And that seems like a lot of just like blaming Boaster. But I can't blame Vikaz, Alpha, or Crashies. They did pretty good this event. And I can only say that Kayak stopped shooting. That's all I can say. That's all I can say on that, because he's not the caller. I don't think. Like, I don't know. It was very odd. Kayak didn't hit shit. And Boaster's timings were the weirdest I think I've ever seen out of him. And I say this truthfully in the manner of, hey, maybe somebody does look at videos at Fnatic and can look back at the footage, maybe, after you're not mad at whatever I said. But I said it last week. Nat said it with his chest this week. It's evident. You can see when it's getting away from Boaster. And then it gets away from Boaster because it's done. Previously being a coach for, youth sports, you can see that mental thing where they're so worried about not doing it that they don't do it. So while I do think Boaster is probably still the best IGL in the world, the second you make Fnatic reconsider how good they are, or how good some of the callers are, because I will say that is one thing that Milan That's the coach, right? Now let's go to Fnatic. Sorry. Um, because I almost said Kojo, but I just wanted he. That's one thing that he did improve on in this event. So you'd say like, hey, it's got to be a manager thing. No, that is one thing that I can say Milan improved on that a lot of other coaches don't recognize. Is sure you have your protocol of taking the time out. Um, uh, you have your protocol of taking the time out when your team's on the eco, but Valorant is too fucking snowbally. If your team has lost 4 or 5 rounds in a row, it is too late for the timeout. It is too late. If you are up 9-3 and your team loses 5 in a row to put them on an eco, the score is 9-8. The enemy team has money, ults. You can't do that. So I'm glad that Milan, I saw this better out of him. Take the time out after 3 losses in a row. I don't care if it's pistol, eco, bonus. If it's 3 in a row, take the time out. It looks like Milan learned that. I think a lot of other coaches in the scene, a lot of other coaches fail miserably at that. And then wonder why the map went so wrong. Even if your IGO sounds like they're making the same call that you were telling them that they need to make for an adaptation, take the fucking time out. They need a second to breathe, recollect themselves. Take the time out. So I am really happy that I saw out of Milan better timeouts. Take the fucking timeout. You cannot wait 4 or 5 rounds to timeout. I don't give a fuck if your team was up 11-2. If the enemy gets to 11-5, sorry, yeah, sure, 11-2. Let's say 11-2 crazily. Says, 10-2 half, then win pistol. If the enemy makes it to 11-5, that would mean like a thrifty and then put you on eco and then, everybody buy. Take the fucking time out. So, I don't know what else Milan, per se does, as like nobody knows what a coach does per team. But I will say that is one improvement that I saw from Milan throughout kickoff. Where, again, I don't know if somebody actually is watching, but that's one of my main criticisms. Like when I was talking about Boaster's spiral and somebody has to stop the spiral, it looks like somebody Milan was like, "Hey, I'm going to try. I got 2 timeouts. It's been 3 rounds. Pause." And that's the best I can ask out of the coach in that position. And the callers looked kind of good after that. They looked like they were adaptations. But then they weren't. So I guess that's kind of my other thing where I think Milan took the timeout. I can't imagine he told them, hey, you've lost 3 rounds in a row trying to plant at 20 seconds. How about you play slower? I can't imagine that's what Milan said in any of those timeouts. But then Boaster did it a fourth and a fifth round and lost them again. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what the comms are. But hey, there's that. So this EMEA part turned into Fnatic rant. But, it's my video, fuck it. It's my video. For anybody else. Was happy that BBL pulled it up over Gentle Mates. Be very honest. BBL, I think, look better than people are giving them credit for. I don't know why so many people were worried, even though this team has been together for a while. But I think BBL is still a bit slept on for some odd reason. Uh, People had gentlemates beating their ass. Don't know why. Like, yeah, it did look kind of sketchy at moments. But I'm more confident in BBL. Yeah, gentlemates has Martine, who has put up an insane performance in 48 hours. Um, But yeah, I mean, they also have mini too, right? Um, shoot. uh, so that, you know, Martin went plus 43 on the series against them. My goodness. My goodness, I didn't even see that number. Plus 43 is insane. 126 over the series. And then you have Vekaz. I do want to come back to Fnatic for a second. Vekaz is look good. Pretty damn good. And this is some of the best I've seen out fair in a minute. Crassy's also still got it. Um, I I do think that two of the members were pretty slacking in what was going on. And maybe, I was gonna say the same thing that I say for other duelists with kayak, where I'm like, hey, sometimes it isn't on the duelist when they're not fragging. It is the setups that they're being forced to put into and not having the support. But no, it was a lot of it was defense and just not getting the kill that he needed to opening. Like on this, yeah, versus Gentle Mates, -10 on first kill, first deaths. Shit, even Boaster went, like straight 0. 9 openers, 9 first deaths, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, Gentle Mates look good. This is, that's not great. I'll be honest, those aren't great across the series. Um, but yeah, Martine was just insane. It's fucking insane. And let's see, BBL. I do want to talk about Vitality too. I think I would talk about Liquid first. Let's talk about Liquid. I do want to talk about Liquid and the fact that Mini Boo looks good. Keep him on the neon. I don't fucking care. I like this iteration of Mini Boo, and I'm proud of Mini Boo. He saw all the shit online that Heretics was getting about like, hey, don't use me to shit on Heretics, basically, right? Like, I don't think that's fair, and that's very mature for a young individual. Like, that's pretty damn good. But also, I do, unfortunately, I'm going to reinforce a little bit on the fact that I've said it for a lot of people wondering about Mini Boo's consistency. Oh, Mini Boo's inconsistent. Oh, Mini Boo's inconsistent. Oh, but Mini Boo, sometimes you do good, sometimes you do bad. That was Heretics as a whole. And I think it kept falling on Mini Boo as the duelist. Now, you take Mini Boo into a different situation, put him on some. He even looked good on the Waylay when he was doing it. But now he's just having fun on Neon. Again, sometimes a lot of the blame gets placed on the wrong individual, and I am glad to see Mini Boo go to a different situation and look pretty good. He's the only one on his team in this final series that went positive in first kill, first death. I'm glad that Mini Boo, he also, dropped double digits on the first kill too, as I want my duelist to do. Um, he's been looking really good. And I hope that this gets that dumbass, oh, Mini Boo's inconsistent, out of people's mouths. I think I've said that this entire kickoff of, hey, like even before this, hey, stop trying to play so much shit on Mini Boo. It never made sense to me because if you're watching the game, you look, oh, he's not hitting. No. I look and I go, that plan was not going to work. That plan wasn't going to let Mini Boo hit. And I've said that so many times. So I'm glad that Mini Boo in the debut and somewhere else looked as good as he did. Happy for that. Nats, Frag and IGL, plus 22 on the series. Mental warfare. Let me tell you, it's not funny, but it's kind of funny too. When I saw the clip, I'm like, no, there's no way he said that. Then I saw the clip. And I'm like, no, this man is dangerous. That's a dangerous individual. When you can say, no, I want that man to reconsider why he plays Valorant. Fuck the past 5 years. I want him to know why he loaded into it today. Damn. Fuck. On 3 different agents across the series? Damn. Oh, fuck. That's that looks good. He is looking like a proper IGL too. Some of those speeches. Okay, Nats, go ahead. I didn't have much stock in this Team Liquid team, honestly, past Nats and Minibo. Didn't know much about Wayne. Don't know. Still. Well, actually, I take it back. Camo did impress me. I am worried about Purpo. Not just because of this series. I am worried about Purpo. Not to say he is playing bad, but it is looking average. And I worry that if Purpo doesn't step up further, that if Team Liquid feels that they are too average, that would be the area. So I think Purpo has time to level up. And I think that'll be good for them. So yeah, Liquid didn't have them high up, I'll be honest. But I am happy for Nats Mini Boo. Wayne came in and did pretty good, for what people were telling me about Wayne. I think that was pretty nice. Camo surprised me at times. Um, Actually, I take that back. Not even at times. I think Camo just flat out surprised me. I didn't. I didn't expect. Yeah, Camo just straight up surprised me across. What was the game that Camo played? Yeah, this one. What? How was the Gecko? What's it? Gecko at -8. Didn't Camo play? That's what am I looking for? It was Navi. It was Navi, right? No, was it Team Liquid Navi? Where the hell was that match? Or is it Vitality? Liquid, Vitality or Navi? Liquid, Oath, Liquid Giant X Heretics. Let's come back to the Vitality game. Maybe it was the Vitality game. I was kind of surprised by some of the shit Camo was pulling for the boys. Man, maybe I'm thinking that the number would have been higher, but yeah, I think that EMEA does have still a shaky region. I think that, well, actually, everybody's region looks kind of shaky, if I'm being honest. Um, while people are happy for their team qualifying, oops, I do fear for T1 and Paper Rex Steel. Nongshim looks, they look ready. All gamers and Zeli look ready. EDG don't. BBL, I'd say BBL looks ready. I'm not sure Gentlemates and Liquid are. I think Martine is ready. I think Mini is ready. I'm not sold on the rest of Gentlemates. But that brings me to my final thoughts about America's kickoff. So, America's. Let's first look at my pick'em. One person predicted everything perfectly. Shout out to that person, and I, in my own region, was within the top 2%. So we take that, right? Um, where do I want to harp the most? I think I want to first harp with 100 Thieves because this pissed me off. I don't give a fuck if third map you blow them the fuck out. It shouldn't have got there. What the absolute fuck do you mean?
3v1, person has to plant Viper's Pit. Two of you jump in to the pit. Why? Why the hell are we doing that? And again, just to say once more, for another week, please stop acting like Bang is not a great pickup. Much like Miniboo, the shit that you all say about Bang for whatever reason has been completely unjustified for a very long time. Sometimes the system they're in is just pretty shit. Uh, Vora went positive, Asuna, Tim, and Cryo went negative. And ranting about coaches again for a second. While I was praising Milan, and I like the ideas coming out of NBS and Doom Bros, I don't like the system of 100 Thieves. I like the ideas, but it is, each time I've now seen, it is pretty clear to me. I could be terribly wrong, and I'd love to be. But looking at them, it looks like they've put a lot of stock in trying to develop the new talent of Vora and Tim, specifically Tim, because if they are putting that stock in Vora, I still need to see more put into it while leaving the people that you know are good behind. I don't think you need to put much, like, again, I think Bang, fantastic pickup. Been rooting for Bang for a while. Still mad as fuck that we pulled out our knife in the 1v1 Viper's Pit that the rest of his team threw for whatever fucking reason. Can't be too mad at Bang when it shouldn't have got there. Shouldn't. What the fuck were we thinking? And then I was looking back, and I was like, how is it that with new talent, new coaches, 100 throws still lives on? Asuna wasn't even a part of some of these 100 throws plays. If you look at they rush into out of a smoke and don't see Vic in fucking heaven, crouch behind a box, play an anti-flash because none of them look left. Asuna wasn't first one out, so can't blame him. Wasn't Asuna in the 3v1 pit situation. Wasn't him either. Looking at all the throws that I've counted throughout this series, jumping through Viper walls when you have the man advantage with the flash and then both of you missing going through it, I can't believe what I'm about to say. But the consistent person in all of these plays has been Cryo. And I don't think that means that Cryo is a thrower. I think you just assume that the guy that can hit amazing shots is going to hit whatever bullshit you're doing. And I don't think you need to do that. And I think that's my other problem coming back to NBS and the system and, the coaches. Because let's throw Doom Bros in there. As much as I like Doom Bros, maybe he's part of it too. I don't know. But Cryo's not being set up in a way to flourish. It's kind of resembling, was it Ghost or Exet? Exet. I always confuse those orgs. I don't remember why I confuse those orgs. Right? It was Exet. Um, Either way, one of those old teams, and it resembles that where you're just asking the guy that can hit really good shots to hit the good shot. Feels very much of, oh, it's a chamber. Yeah, he can. Chamber's a duelist, right? He has absolutely no duelist utility, but he has a gun, right? So it feels like that all over again, where you're asking a lot from Cryo. Now, at the same time, because nobody's put stock into your other star, this is why it pisses me off. And this is how I can tell you're not developing your other talent as much as you should be because you're focused on the new guys. I'm looking at Pearl. Cryo with an interceptor is getting Tejo missiled in a cubby that he can also just step back and avoid the missile. He pops the interceptor late, let alone he was standing on top of a box that he wasn't going to be able to just teleport away from like he's fucking Chamber. If he just misses the shot or hits the shot, he'll get traded out there. So he was standing in a dumbass spot anyway. Um, so he's there. Then he gets Tejo missiled out, pops the interceptor way too late, so he has to move, and then tries to move in the open. Which, yeah, a smoke was coming in, and the smoke was late, but you had the utility that you didn't need to blow a smoke then. You had the options to not do that. So reviewing the footage, as much as it's like, yeah, why is Asuna rezzing right now? He hasn't done that since whoever ate it, like, whoever got on him. He's been pretty fine from all of that. I know there was something that was like, oh, to celebrate Valentine's Day. Yeah, like that was, I don't know, that was kind of goofy, but didn't even end the series on that, did he? Oh, that was versus NRG, right? Anyway, so while you're looking at long-standing members, but having the same issue of 100 throws, Bang left to Sentinels for what was it, 2 seasons? 1 season, right? Still 100 throws. Looking at the footage, Asuna actually isn't a part of that many throws. But it looks very clear like, well, if one person jumps off a cliff, then I have to too. That's what I'd equate 100 Thieves. And I don't think that Cryo is necessarily throwing. I think he's being asked to. I think it's go, oh, well, I got Cryo, so this stupid ass play is going to work. Cryo just hits amazing shots, right? Like, come on, guys, it's easy. It's Cryo. So then you do something stupid as hell, because it's Cryo, he's just going to hit the shot, and then it looks bad when it doesn't happen. And also, again, I can tell NBS, / Doom Bros, whoever, this is again coming on to you. Cryo is, much like Boaster, standing in really bad spots when he's not on Chamber. If you look at Viper, I don't want my Viper standing in the middle of the Viper wall. Because he's gotten spammed through these smokes too many times on Split especially. I don't want to see that. I want my Viper to know that you have to be leaning to the left of mid when your smoke is going down, or else you get trapped in the right corner where you can easily be util dumped, which has happened to him. You aren't putting stock into your other star players. It's Tim and the solo Wele looks amazing. Vora still needs help on Sky. His fade looks okay. Maybe consider some other things for Vora too. Bang, thankfully, is still keeping Bang form. He's been on these agents for a while. He can play his agents. But you're asking not only with new people to play as new people, you're playing your old players or older for the team. Technically, NBS and, Tim and Vora been together, so technically you're new players. You're asking them to play new things with Asuna now on Sage. I know Asuna's played Sage before, right? I want to say used to on Icebox. Or who did? Who did back then? His Asuna was Reyna or Raze? I can't remember. It's been a while. Maybe it was Nitro on Sage. Was it Nitro on Omen? Whatever. But, you're asking them to play new things, and Cryo setups for Vito. I'm looking at the teleports, and I'm now convinced. I said it last week. I am now convinced that you told him, hey, it's just like Chamber. do that, and he's putting them in places that don't make sense. These setups don't make sense. I don't get it. So somebody actually work with the rest of your talent. Tim looks amazing. Even in this, Tim looks amazing. This is the shit I'm talking. Tim, as far as I'm concerned, I know I was a little bit like, what is Tim doing? I need him to not be an 18-year-old duelist. Then looking further, getting more footage. No, I'm sorry, Tim. I ever doubted and thought that you were the overheater. It's not him. Everything I've seen out of Tim thus far, can't say that there's been one play that I'm like, Tim, what the fuck are we doing? I'm convinced that he's being told if there's a bad situation for these situations. Now, I will say Tim was a part of the 3v1 Viper Pit split throw that pisses me off to everything and back. But yeah, I think that they're suffering. I think Cryo is suffering from the same 10 situation. Where it's like, oh, he'll just hit the shot, and then when it doesn't happen, it looks bad. And I think people just like Cryo more, I guess. They aren't trying to just randomly throw him under the bus. And I'm not trying to throw Cryo under the bus now. Again, I think that I think Cryo is being failed by his leadership. Genuinely. Whether you want to say that's the IGL or the coach, whatever. I'd say it's the coach. I'm looking at these setups and they don't make sense out of Cryos. You have the Vito Sage on Corrode, which honestly is an approximation of I think Fnatic. Yeah, I think we saw 100 Thieves do it first, but Sage Vito isn't all that different from KO Vice in the way that they play it, and the way that it like the theory behind it. It's not all that different. Promise you, it's not. And in fact, I'd say that if we're playing double duelist, yeah, there was a cool Sage Wall or two boost to see over or something, but they ended up not coming to any of those angles. So now you've blown wall. I'd say consider putting Asuna on Vice on Corrode and see what that does for you all. And then I can teach you a setup for Vito on A. Or some of these variations, right? So I think 100 Thieves, I'm upset that I see where the resources have gone. You're asking a lot out of some of these players, and it does not look like you're helping them in the same fashion. Yeah, there was the switch up on Pearl going into Cloud9, and I feel like this is another one, like this is a decent adjustment. Where you put Cryo on Vito because you know that Cloud9 runs double initiator backslash hey post plant. So here's something for the Tejo missiles. And then you just have to worry about the Astrosuck. And with that, I do have one thing for Asuna that pissed me off. But, you know, it's a Heinz. He's going to look at the footage and probably be a bit upset about it. It's the 1v1 versus Vic. Astro Wall is up. Vic has suck and stun. Asuna is on KO. You're playing KO to stop the post plant shit, the same way you are. The same reason Cryo is on Vito. You know that one person was on one part. You are playing KO. Your knife has come back up. You know where one person isn't. So you never check behind you because you don't think that it's possible for them to be behind you. Throw the knife at the only other spot. Stop them from sucking and stunning you. And know if that spot that you throw the knife will be clear because it covers that entire area. I was so mad that he did not use his utility there. And Asuna's been on KO. So that's one thing, but hey, now you have Asuna being Turbo Flex. if you ask them to be turbo flex, I can't fault that too much. But I will say, Asuna will look at that and go, if I just threw the fucking knife. If I just threw the fucking knife. Now, mind you, they won the map. But that round, I don't know how Vic keeps getting activated on Pearl, by the way. But that round didn't need to go that way. Didn't need to. So, if somebody at 100 Thieves camp that I'm like now, like, well, maybe Fnatic is watching. If somebody's doing it for 100 Thieves, tell them to focus on all of them and not just the two new kids. And I guess specifically not just Tim, because I am serious that there are things coming out of Vora's. Maybe they're focusing on getting Vora to call, but his agent usage is worrying at times. Was it this series? No, right? Because no, it was this series. It was this series. My Sky with Seekers. Yeah, you got the cute little pop flash. Got a pick off of it one round. Don't fucking double down on doing that solo. My Sky with Seekers should not be the first person swinging out. What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing here? You're the only one with an ult this round, I believe, if I remember correctly. What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? I didn't see as many team flashes, and I think I forgot to keep track of the heals. But my goodness, what are we doing? What are we doing? So, look, we focused on the solo waylay. We focused on the Sage. Looks good. Bang is still doing incredible, right? Teach Cryo other shit if you're going to make him the Sentinel role. Not just say, hey, yeah, plug and play. It's Vito is just chamber, but instead of a teleport, you have the interceptor. Go crazy. Because coming back to Pearl, the other thing that doesn't make sense about standing on the box is that the reason that you can do a chamber is that if you get flashed, you just teleport away. Vito's interceptor won't stop a flash down that far from where you're placing it, or just in general, unless you somehow find a way to get away with throwing it down long and then coming all the way back to that position. It's not stopping that flash. So you're going to get flashed, they're going to see you, and your only option is to jump backwards. And I don't think that the teleports were purchased because there was a light buy. So there's really no reason for you to be on there. At all. You're not in evolution either to stop from a flash blind. There were so many layers as to why I can tell that somebody has not helped Cryo with Veto, or they don't understand Veto themselves. The Haven setups are poor. But that's coming back to that. Going to see Cloud9 though. C9, Cloud9. Look good. I'm proud of Penny for tackling a new role, regardless of what the performance looked like, in this series. How did Penny do in this series? Not that okay, that's actually like really not good. Not hot at all. But it was thrust upon Penny, and I still believe that was a scapegoat situation. I can't change my mind, especially after this. That, well, if we have a reason to make it, it wasn't me, right? Can't get any of that. Um, Looks like the Zeppa Demon One duo was magic, so I kind of wish they found a way to keep that going, but that happened. And I'm gonna be real with Zosis as a caller looks better. Still blows my mind that if Zosis wanted to call and John doesn't want to call anymore, why does Sentinels look the way they do? Don't know. Don't get it. Don't fucking get it. But moving on to the finals, so that I stop being upset about my Dark Horse pick of 100 Thieves. MIBR Furia. I've been critical of fraud for a while. I have. Um, because that shit just doesn't make sense. The team looks night and day different from Double Duelist to Zekin on controller. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. Yeah, this is going to sound odd when everybody else is doing Double Duelist. But you picked up Zekin. It's not like you picked up a random T2 duelist and just threw them on smokes. You've picked up Zekin. And then Zekin is looking like the better duelist in some of these series when he's on the duelist. Alright, I guess this one wasn't the best one to show it. I think it was Furia. Lean into it. You have Aspas and Zekin on your team. That's the freest fucking win I've ever seen. Double down on Double Duelist. Call it a day. Make it easy on yourself. Just make it easy. Then you have NRG, who have scraped by and qualified at the final. Actually, let's take it to the top. Let's take it back to the top with going to Furia before I go on to NRG. Furia. They were in my list of. I was so hurt. I've said it like 3 or 4 videos now. I was so incredibly hurt by how bad they looked in the offseason. I didn't think it was possible with these individuals to look as bad as they did. But hey, I guess you really can't trust offseason. And I guess this was the series. Was this the series that? Yeah. Yeah. This was the series. This is one of them. Alright. I guess that one was close. Yeah. So, keep Zekin on. Just let him be Yoru or whatever the fuck. Also, I feel like you could just let him get back on Rays. And then make Aspas do fucking Jet. And you go back to the OG double duelist of Jet Rays. Think that works too. Not to say that Zekin's Yoru is that bad. But also, there's truly moments so far that it's like, Zekin Bud, what the fuck were we doing there? What the fuck were we trying to attempt there? Because he's been unleashed, I guess. I don't know if Sentinels wasn't letting him have fun or some shit. But now that he's like, all right, I'm not first duelist. I'm not the only duelist. Fuck it. Let me just try to get out of fucking dimensional drift with a classic or whatever the fuck because he thought he had shorty or whatever. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Um, and yeah, I don't think any of the individuals are the problem. I think that it's what the fuck fraud has cooked up of double controller. And I guess going into that because everybody was in the offseason like, oh, you got to go double controller for this meta. Oh, the double duelist is fake. You got to go double controller. Oh, double controller every day, all day of the week. You got to go Omen Viper every map. Got to do it. And I think that was not. I think that was a poor read of the meta, and I think that was a cop out. So now you see that you could just go double duelist, and you have Zekin and Aspas. Just do it. My goodness. Furia, happy for him. So happy for Koala and EU and Nerve. I wasn't familiar with Artsin and Alum, so that's the only thing there. Found out that it's true that the coach and Artsin calm in Portuguese, and then Artsin relays the information back. If they claim that that's efficient and works for everybody, who am I to shit on their system, right? But I don't know if that's sustainable. That seems like that leaves. The second that doesn't work, it's going to look really bad. it's going to be rough when it stops working because you're not getting the input at the time that you probably should in the quick 2 minutes from the rest of the team to take in all the information you might need. Like, the coach has an approximation of what's going on, but if you find out in the last 10 seconds of the timeout that EU is trying, I don't know why I held the E like that. Why that EU is trying to tell you, like, hey, uh, they've just immediately Yoru teleported and dumped util on me in this spot the second that, let's just say, Alum dies. Yeah, sure, let's say that Alum dies. That they immediately focus on me and the coach hasn't peeped that. That's going to be a rough situation for them. So if that's their system and it works for them, hope it continues to. But I'm not sure that that's sustainable. And going to what I was saying about the other ones, I don't know if I'm that confident in Furia and Santiago. People and say the bracket, don't get me wrong, they took down strong opponents in NRG, G2, and MIBR. But at the same time, it wasn't Crew's roster. Sentinels looked pretty shit. NRG looked pretty shaky. G2 didn't know what the fuck they were doing. MIBR don't want to win, apparently. Or didn't want to win with whatever the comp situation was. So I'm not convinced that Fury is just that strong versus with the looking at the run. Then you have NRG. Sorry, then you have G2 here. Uh, G2 MIBR. G2. Fucking Valen, bro. Man, plus 32 on the series is insane out of your IGL only on Astra. My goodness, 3-0. I couldn't believe it. Well, I could, but it was wild. Like, my goodness, Valen. Plus 18, plus 12. Close it out with a slight little plus 2. Also, Jogamo ISO, kind of cool. I kind of like it. Kind of like it. But yeah, that's my days. I am much more confident in G2 now. I'll say that. I am much more confident in G2. I am not concerned as I was. Then now I'll talk about NRG. I sorry, I still am not sold on NRG. I'm not. I think they got kind of lucky that MIBR suffered from the same Boaster situation of get punched in the mouth and just bottom the fuck out. And again, it's on the maps where we're forcing Zekin on the controller. And which fucking I forget which one. And not only just like, oh, you can't have Zekin. Zekin can never learn. Oh, he can't do anything else. He's been other roles before being a duelist. But you have, I'm not going to say that it was the reason it cost him the round, but you also have your controller doing shit like one way and the spike that you need to defuse because you're trying to entry himself and like some other Astra misplays. It just that's not on Zek and probably wasn't going to win the round anyway, but the odds get even worse at that point. So there's that. Do I have anything else to say about Americas? Um, it's the region I did the best with. EG looks like they have things that they actually could fix and be strong. Like I think the only teams that I'm not well, we haven't seen Crew, so there's that. Um, Loud, and then the clips that we saw. I don't know, man. That I think it was kind of like. Well, actually, I won't say much more. I just don't. I hope they figure it out. Then you have Sentinels. I went on my rant before. Did I say that last week or did I cut it? I don't remember. Yeah, I think I kept it in. But Sentinels, I hope they figure it out. Whereas I'm hard on the coaches like NBS and Fraud because the easy answer is there. I've been hard on Kaplan because he seems stubborn from what I imagine. Right? I have no insight, but from what things happen, he seems kind of stubborn. But at the same time, I don't know how flexible you can get and then the answers turn on. I'm hard on 100 Thieves and MIBR because the answer is right there. Smack in the face. Hey, set up Cryo like you set up Tim and you win. Hey, set up double duelists. You have the two best duelists in the world on the same team. What are we doing? I don't give a fuck if everybody's telling you double controller. Make them play double duelist. I don't care what the meta is. You have Zekin and Oshpus on the same team. Make them play double duelist. But for Kaplan, he's had several changing rosters. I haven't liked many of the answers. I said this last week since Drew left, or since Drew was let go. Because I still think that was one of the biggest tosses and employment I've seen out of a esports org, in my opinion. Uh, right? I know there's bigger ones you could probably lend to, but I'm more partial to Drew and Sentinels. But that was like, what the fuck are we doing here? Uh, but at the same time, that was a risk to put tens on controller backslash KO, right? And with this roster, I think if I say, like, yeah, I think you say, John, be the initiator. But what the fuck else do you do with these other four players? John doesn't want to call. I think that's fine. And I know a lot of people are going to go to Caillou and go like, hey, this guy, not an IGL, yada, yada, yada. I don't think that's fair. I really don't. And I don't really know what you do with the rest. I think you let narrate do mini boo situation of just being neon. And you turn out to be a neon team. I think it's easy slam dunk to go John Tejo, narrate neon. And you at least have a good foundation there to work from. It seems like Cortesia wants to be Viper, right? Is that true? Or is that what he's been forced into because, oh, double controller? I'm not sure on that front. Don't really know. Um, then you have Redux and Caillou. And you have to figure out there. Maybe you are a double initiator team. Maybe you're not double controller. Maybe you're not double duelist. Maybe you're a double initiator team. Maybe you have narrate neon, John Tejo, Caillou Sofa, Redux Omen looks fine enough. Cortesia, any Sentinel esque role besides just fucking Viper. Let's. I haven't done it for everybody else, so I guess I'll look on my own time what Redux, Caillou, and Cortesia are kind of best at. But I think you have easy pieces, but I can't see an easy answer the same way I see with the others. I can't. So while I've been tough on Kaplan since he's taken over as head coach, or since he was, I don't want to say forced into, but he was assistant coach. Last guy wasn't working too much for them, so they said, "Hey, you're head coach now." And then you have a dream team of Sashi. Well, apparently we see Zelsis, right? Not apparently. That sounded not the way I meant, but you know, the dream team of Sashi, Zekin, Tens, Zelsis, John. You're kind of gifted that golden egg right there. It's going to be hard to figure out what to do when even Zekin and Zelsis leave. So now you have John, who I don't want to see them treat John like I think 100 Thieves are doing Cryo. Where it's like, well, we still have this guy that's good. So you force him into uncomfortable shit. And hell, if we're going to be reductive, I would have loved to see, hey, just make Cryo Chamber. He seems to want to play fucking Chamber. Chamber is hella playable right now. Let Tim be Waylay. Figure out your comp with the other people. That way, Bang can play Astra, Omen, and Viper, Brim. Whatever other way you have to do, just do that. Maybe you make it so that your team is untradeable. I know that I was talking about 100 Sentinels, but now I'm 100 Thieves again. Maybe you just make it so that three characters on the end on your team are good at not getting shot between Omen, Waylay, and Chamber. I don't know. There's easier slam dunks to be said with something like 100 Thieves and MIBR, where I don't like. Kaplan and Sentinels have to figure out a brand new thing. Apparently, it's supposed to be a work in progress situation, yada yada yada, and it is. And they're trying to find themselves in the world, and yada yada yada. But I think maybe that's my one thing. Maybe the easy slam dunk for Kaplan is to not look at what any other team is doing. Don't look at any other thing that any other team is doing on any other map. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Let Narrate play whatever the fuck he wants to play. Let John play Initiator. The other three, figure it out from there, I guess. Honestly, see what everybody wants to play and make that a comp. Because the meta comps come from somebody else, some team wanting to play some shit. Or the coach going, wait, this is Giga Broken. You're playing buffed Waylay. And then figure out from there, though. But figure out what your players want to play and what they're best at. Maybe let Redux perma Yoru. So what? Yoru, Neon, Teho, Sova, I don't know, Cortesia at that point has to be Astra. That works as an in between of Viper and being a Sentinel, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. But there was questionable team decisions where Zelsis is now gone and you let go of Bang. And that, I don't know. I don't know. So that's my piece on Sentinels, I guess. Envy. I already went on my rant. I'm gonna do it again because fucking that's so fucking stupid to me. Lev, I went on that rant. EG, honestly, I think their fix is just time. I think their fix is just time. That's it. Uh, Looked okay for the time and the situation. Digizin looked amazing. Bao, Okiano, Supa all looked amazing at times. I think you just gotta let Calm take the Nets role of, hey, your perma lurker person is becoming a caller. You gotta give them time to do not perma lurker call type shit. Maybe teach Calm mental warfare like Nats has apparently dived into. My goodness. Sorry, that's still funny. But yeah, I think that's my closing part on America's kickoff. Apparently, I have a clue about my region. I have a clue, but and with that, I am confident that G2 is kind of ready-ish for international. Will they win Santiago? I'd like to see it. I'm not confident Energy can get the run back. I'm not. I'm not too confident in that one. And I would like to see Furia make the miracle run, but I'm also still like, I don't know, Chief. I don't know. But yeah, that's all of kickoff done. All my thoughts upon seeing the teams before Santiago backslash stage one type shit. So from there, we shall see. Shall see. If you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.